talk about this because growing up, I was on
Hold up.
YouTube, and I low-key had to talk about this because growing up, I was on YouTube in the 2016 and 2017 era, and what I remember is that white dudes and non-black people would spam the anti-black edginess gimmick, and Ethan Klein was one of those people. I think it's fair to say he almost got off to saying the N-word or just slurs in general. It was associated with Keemstar back when he used to run Drama Alert, and y'all already know
Yeah.
how Keemstar is.
He's top, yeah. Like,
Oh,
and then,
shit,
so now
what
he
the
fucking
fuck?
famous somehow, and I'm famous.
Yo, you're in trouble.
Why? Oh shit.
That crypto shit.
Huh?
Keemstar, shut the fuck up. But
What's
when
he
I
doing?
woke up and I seen Ethan get dished the EDP allegations, my jaw was dropped. But I wasn't necessarily surprised, so I'm gonna go over all of this, talk about it, say how much I think he's weird, and yeah, consider this a Socrates special because we straight chilling today. I'm not locking in on the editing, but let me stop yambling. You already know I'm the hood Socrates.
Hey, we here for what you got to say. DH, talk to me.
Email for paid promo inquiries. I'm gonna lay this on you guys hella blunt, but Ethan Klein has an old Reddit account that goes under the handle of _troll, which is pretty weird considering everything he was saying on the account, which includes anti-Palestinian rhetoric, which, let me be abundantly clear, it's free Palestine, and when I get to it, I'll say it again. But the stuff we're about to get into is just very crazy. Obviously, you're gonna ask, like, DH, how do you know it's Ethan? Well, this is a screenshot of the man promoting his H3H3 Productions account, saying he wants to get into YouTube. Now, is that substantial? Sort of. But I'm gonna say allegations, because I'm an 18-year-old with no funds for legal fees. But I just found even more proof as I'm writing this, so let me show you. Ethan would promote his videos on Reddit and would get feedback. He also has two accounts, the actual H3 Reddit account and his other one. And this is him once again confirming that this is his YouTube channel that he was promoting on his other Reddit account. But it's like every time I write, something gets retconned, and he ended up actually admitting that this was his account in an IG response, which I'll talk about later. But first things first, let's start about the weird jokes he was making about children. I'm not even gonna read this out.
I feel like he
It's
lost weight.
weird, and I really hope this is merely just about children. I'm
Wait, hold
not
on.
even gonna read.
What socially inappropriate thing are you frequently tempted to do? For example, I want to RSVP to events on Facebook that are being held in a small group of people that I don't know. That's reason. That's touch little boys is kind of crazy. Not gonna lie. I don't want to have to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy. That is, obviously something's wrong with there.
This out. It's just weird, and I really hope this is merely just a joke.
I would love to think it's a troll, yeah.
Joke, and he does
Plays into the username.
children, but the second screenshot is even worse.
Whoa, what? That Negro child. What is that word? Sure is elastic. Reminds me of when I stand in front of the mirror and twist my hips so my dick dances around in circles. Usually stops like what am I reading? Usually stops like he did too when it hits my 2-year-old in the face, LOL. He usually stands under me asking what I'm doing. I just tell him daddy is dancing. What the I mean, I just didn't like him for things that he said vocally, right? So the fact that he's saying all this stuff behind closed doors, kind of, on the net is just actually like really disgusting to me.
And it's back to the racism thing I was telling y'all about early on. I don't even understand joking like this. On top of it being a hypothetical about a child, why do you have to make it a Negro child? These screenshots just continue to add on to the bad look that Ethan has.
It's just not funny on top of that.
There's always this weird...
Like, all right, time out. I'm always down for a funny, like, out-of-pocket joke. I love them to death. That just wasn't funny. That was a whole lot of words that were just weird. Why is that... I always come into these videos, even when it's about a creator that I don't like or somebody in general that I don't like, and try to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to dislike you more than I'm supposed to dislike you or is reasonable to do so. But when we get to points like this, brother, we're just talking. What are you doing?
Obsession with black people. That's why they be spamming like anti-black jokes. It's already weird enough you're joking about children like this, but then you want to make your hypothetical children you're joking about black too, bruh? Get out of here. I don't mess with that. But here's what makes it worse. Back when he was doing his podcast Frenemies with Trisha Paytas, who, to be honest, she's a whole video on her own, he said something that was crazy. This was alarming.
Girl for a month?
Around a month, yeah.
Do you love her?
Fuck off.
Is Brandon good at
Honestly, yeah.
She's 17.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Brandon, what's up?
What? Anyway,
She couldn't
listen.
get into Jason's party because she wasn't 18. Like, I knew about this. That's why I distanced myself. And Jason would always be pissed at me that I wouldn't film with Brandon. I'm like, he's an actual, like, and we're actually, like, and he's, like,
He's-
24.
Having sex with a 17 isn't.
For sure.
All right, time out. I don't know what state this is in, so it could very well be legal, unfortunately, right? The other guy was one of those line writers, but he was a funny guy. He was a funny guy. I'll give him that. I'd like to think that was a bit. I'd like to think that he doesn't ride the line that much. You know, being 24, dating a 17-year-old is just in general not a good look, even if we take out the context of, you know, maybe he crushed that. But operating under the assumption that 16 years old or 17 years old is the age of consent in whatever state this occurred in, it's weird, right? If it actually happened, it's really weird. And really uncalled for, but we can't. I don't want to police it too hard, and then he gives me some extra information. I'm like, oh, okay, they were trolling. You know, if they were trolling, I can see the joke in it. I can see the humor in it, in the context of the situation. But if they're not joking, we got some things to say.
It's
With a minor, for sure, that's an actual, it's a child. 17-year-old is a child.
So, okay, whatever. I don't need to debate that, but it's illegal.
Okay, well, yeah.
Someone that has sex with kids.
She's a child. That's a child.
But you don't magically become not a child when you go turn from when the clock ticks midnight.
That actually is, like, how it works, yeah. Like, you also have no business being with, like, an 18-year-old, but, like, 17 is an actual child. It's actually legal. Like, you actually should go.
Okay, well, I'm not.
Okay, so they said that it was illegal in whatever state that occurred in. So it is weird. Oh, excuse me. Number one, it's wrong in the eyes of the American law, right? That's strike one. I do kind of see where he's coming from. You don't just magically, you know, once you turn from 17 to 18, become an adult. Like, you don't just magically mature. That's not how it works, right? Granted, I'm willing to entertain the idea that the other guy, as a 24-year-old, also, I didn't, back when I used to watch his content, I never looked at him as like, that's big bro. Like, or like he's a father type figure as a content creator. Even though he was significantly older than me, the jokes that he made and the way that he carried and conducted himself, he just seemed like somebody in our age bracket. Now, obviously, mentally, people are in different levels, and we're not going to sit here and try and justify the actions of the illegal. But I do, like I said, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I am willing to concede to Ethan. He is correct on the simple point that once you go from 17 to 18, there's no like magical thing that happens that makes you an adult now. That's just not a thing. Regardless, he said that, you know, the thing was illegal. So that's what this whole thing culminates in, becomes illegal. So there's no discussion beyond that. And I wish he kind of just stopped there. But he's going to keep going because his co-host, I don't want to say to his credit because I think this might be his show. She's not the brightest, she's not the sharpest tool in the shed, we'll say.
Not here to debate that, but some states it's 16.
But it's not that in California.
This is Ethan Klein
Yeah.
defending a 24-year-old who was sleeping with a 17-year-old because a state says that's legal. That is probably the most red flag thing I've heard, and I don't know how
It's rough.
any alarm bells, especially when this dropped. And I think it's sort of contradictory to his response statement, which, like I said, I'll talk about when I get there. But let's talk about some of his pro-Israel talking points that he'd be spamming. This screenshot is him denying the ongoing ethnic cleansing.
Let's see. Israel discriminating against Palestinians living in the occupied territories by depriving them of water, electricity, And Rhodes, Human Rights Watch. When I was reading stories of how Gaza is a death trap, it should be death camp, and how it is being deprived of essentials and about ethnic cleansing, this statistic comes to mind. The average life expectancy of somebody born in Gaza is 73. Doesn't sound like. His source is Wikipedia. Holy wow! I was trying to find the silver lining and give him something. I was trying to concede him something. I'm gonna let DH cook.
Palestinians because of a life expectancy, and part of his response was dismissing everything as a joke and shock humor to get you to check out his YouTube channel. But how is the joke denying the ethnic cleansing of Palestine?
That's really stupid.
I would scroll Twitter and see so many crazy things that was happening to Palestine, and that's 2024, and we actually got the footage for real. Now just imagine back then. So I just ask, what is funny about that? Now look at this screenshot. This is in r/Israel, by the way. I'm gonna use 2 screenshots to show you just for better context. How is this even a joke, bro? Niggas will straight up be Zionists, but then claim they're trolling or whatever. This is not a troll, not at all. You are actively saying Palestinians are monkeys or not evolved. And then the worst screenshot of them all, he quite literally says there are anti-Palestinian laws, but low-key just have an open mind towards discrimination because you might understand. Bro, get the fuck out of here. But I will say, Ethan has always been a questionable figure in terms of the internet. I mean, he was singing Not Like Us and got the lyrics wrong just to say, nigga, you can't make it up.
And down, call an ambulance, take a beat, bro, man.
The music? I want to hear what he's dancing to. Like what the vibe is.
It's Kendrick.
Bro,
Oh, God.
Is it worth it? Man down, call an ambulance, take a beat, bro.
Like, okay, bro. Y'all know what's frying me so bad about it? He's literally always been saying nigga. He's always been saying slurs.
Yes.
Yeah. He's been around for how long? And I think that's really just a symptom of 2017 YouTube. iDubbbz never had to apologize for his racist past. And I think all these YouTubers that came up during that era, low-key, we just got to get them up out of here. No cap.
I didn't even know he was still making
These are
content
not
like
the
that.
people you want to have a platform. Black people
Facts.
are telling y'all about these type of weird individuals. People who make their entire humor anti-black rhetoric or slurs or just, you know, masking straight up bigotry as edginess are not to be trusted. So for all this stuff to come out about Ethan, I'm not surprised, and yeah, no cap. And also, bruh, I forgot to mention, but his wife was in the IDF. And I found a crazy Reddit post that proposes that his wife was lying about her role in the IDF and even had photos like these to prove she was more involved than she'd like to let on. Here's the link. Take a screenshot on your phone and paste it into a browser or something. I'm not gonna go over it here.
Scaring me.
All this to say, having screenshots that show you saying anti-Palestinian things and then having a wife who is just in the IDF, but hold on, she's not even being completely truthful potentially about her involvement in the IDF looks very crazy. And I don't think you can just brush off all of this as jokes when you have this mountain of just insanity. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy. But finally, let's talk about his response because it's super shitty. Honestly, I'm gonna just keep it a bean. Like, it's horrible. I'll have it up on screen for a little bit, but the gist of it is that niggas only know of this because of a data breach. And basically, the account was, by his words, merely a character that was meant to be shocking to drive traffic towards his channel. And then he ends the response saying it's better to joke about being an EDP than it is to have the actual, you know, explicit content on your computer, which I agree. But he's also the same nigga playing Kawhi Leonard robot defense to defend a 24-year-old sleeping with a 17-year-old. So he's pretty fucking weird. And I don't think he was joking then. But what do y'all think? Like I said, I never really messed with this guy because he's just a shadow from a racist time on YouTube. I don't care for him, but that's just how I feel. Subscribe for more unsolicited opinions. Join my
DH8 with that one. Even trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, which I did try to do, right? I wasn't as direct and crude to him as I would like to be, or as I felt I should have been in the past. As a content creator, I never respected his content. I tried to because, you know, obviously in the reactionary space and just talking to a camera, or in his case, you know, having a podcast, all that sort of stuff, you're going to have takes that people don't like. You're going to have opinions that you throw out there that people don't love. That's part of the game. So sitting there and expecting somebody to have a take that you're always going to agree with is crazy. That would be crazy of me to do, right? But at the same time, brother, he's toting a line. Like, call me crazy, right? I am an appreciator of all crude joke, all, like, no matter how heinous joke is, for the most part, within reason, it's funny. But here's the thing that makes a joke, and I need you guys to come in. I'm gonna bring you guys in close for this, right? A joke is only considered a joke, and it's only funny when you know the person saying it would not do or genuinely is not a part of the group that is doing the wrong in the joke, right? With dark humor. If you say a joke that involves harming another person per se, right? You can only make that joke if we look at you and we know you can't harm anybody, or we know you could if you really wanted to, but you're a teddy bear, you're a sweetheart, you're a jolly green giant. You know what I'm saying? You're one of those type of people where we know you have the mental control, stability, and understanding to treat people with respect, kindness, and all that other stuff. So if you sit there and make a let's, how far do we want to tote this line? We're not going to tote it too far. Let's say one of our friends that just like really gets along with everybody sits there and says something crazy about how he would sometimes, you know, man, when you say stuff, you just make me want to go right upside your head with a crowbar, like Joker did the one Robin, or something like that, something just off the wall, right? Because we know that friend actually wouldn't do it, the joke is understood. We know he's not serious. But when you have an account called Troll, right? And you're pumping out content like crazy, and you claim that you're just drawing people back to your channel traffic, nobody that gets rage baited is going to go to your social media, to your YouTube channels, and look at your YouTube channels, because they don't agree with you on Reddit. Why would they go look at your stuff? They wouldn't. That's just that's an arbitrary argument. That's so stupid to me. That makes no sense whatsoever. If you're going to sit there and you're going to try and make a lie like that up, at least make it believable. Bait somebody with something else. If you sat there and he would have those crazy storylines, and he'd be like, well, you can debate me on the topic on, if you go to this website, if you go to this link, then you can make that argument. It's still a weak argument, but you can kind of twist it that way. You just saying rage baity stuff, and then when everybody's like, oh my God, what did he just say? That's crazy. Now you decide to pivot and say, oh yeah, I'm just drawing attention to my YouTube. No, you can't do that. That's not I don't even want to say that's normal. That's irregular. That's weird. Along with justifying why somebody should, as a grown man, be able to be with a child